Hey guys, I previously said that I was going to make a video on top releases of 2025, and I want to deliver that for you guys so we can move on into the new year. I wouldn't say these are my top releases. A lot slips through the cracks for me. As much as I like to click on things, find new stuff to be inspired by, I don't hear everything, and there's always plenty of new releases that you guys can recommend to me. I do welcome that. Please continue to do so. And I realized after compiling this list that a lot of these entries are more modern takes on metal, which, if you follow the channel, you know wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense for the ideals that I normally champion on here. As I get older, I'm realizing that I want to hear an inspired mission statement firstly, before I kind of delve into whether or not your songwriting and message is up to par. I need to feel that there is a reason for your band to exist. If you're going to go ahead and deliver me competent metal that I've heard a million times before in the last however many decades, that's great that you can compile that. I definitely appreciate that you can do that, but I need to hear your identity first, because your identity is going to tell me whether or not you're a true artist or someone that is just gifted with mimicry and being able to put together more a tribute band than anything. So please do continue to send me recs. I want to hear more old school takes that are inspired. This is going to be a lot of modern sounding bands, but it's also not a top 10 list of 25. It's more what I heard this year that I would probably listen to again, or at least more than once, and have listened to more than once. So we'll go ahead and get this started with a new Blue Dust Nord record, Ethereal Horizons. This is a record that it's very streamlined for them. They like to reinvent themselves with multiple releases, and this goes back to the melodically driven black metal slanted style they have done before. My last encounter with this band was all the way back to, I think, 2006 with the Mort record, which kind of tossed aside all elements of traditional metal presentation and instrumentation, and just went for the throat with a very visceral, surreal, kind of terrifying, industrial tinged record, which I was excited to hear. I thought that was a very inspired record. This is a different style of inspiration. This is still, their melodic choices on this record they still feel like there's fire there. It doesn't seem like they're going through the motions. They definitely are holding back. This is a band that is either going to throw all the spaghetti at the wall or hold back and show some restraint, and that's what they're doing on this record. So you got to give them credit for that. Just letting the melodies carry the songs as opposed to the confrontation of a surrealist nightmare. A lot of what they had done before kind of paved the way for bands like Portal and Deathspell Omega to do what they did, which is, I understand why those styles will be maligned. I get it. Whenever a band kind of paves the way for a style to be emulated, a lot of the copycats end up drowning or draining all of the life out of what made the progenitors actually have a worthwhile mission statement. So what they had done in the past, I still think is valid, artistically valid, and this is another shade of that. So if you want to hear something that has well thought out melodies, it is kind of a one note record. The emotional characteristic of the melodies that they use are going to be developed, but there's not going to be multiple shades of it. On the whole, though, it's an engaging listen. So we'll move on from there to the Novembre record, Words of Indigo, which I have already covered on this channel, so this is going to be really brief. If you're a fan of stuff like old Paradise Lost, shit like that, give this a spin. This is both a welcoming back to form and a bit of a letdown for me. I really liked it when I first heard it, when I made the video, because the previous record that they had made, Ursa, didn't do anything for me at all, and I really liked the one before it, The Blue. This is a lot more in common with The Blue. It feels a lot more inspiring, but it doesn't doesn't present the next artistic step for the band. If anything, it kind of showcases the weaknesses more than ever. There are good songs on it. Songs are not really their strong suit. The songwriting for the band has always been pretty weak. There are great riffs and passages here and there, and great explorations of emotional coloring, but the band has always needed to work on their arranging. Some of the better arranging is probably on Novembre Waltz or Classica. They do not know how to piece songs together well, but the plus side of this band is, despite me mentioning band like Paradise Lost before, they do not sound like anyone else, and that is very hard to come by. So that tells me that they have provided a backdrop to give them validity as a band because they have their own voice. And I hate to have that be the bare minimum for what I need to allow me to want to listen to a band, but show me who you are. Don't tell me who you are. Show me who you are, and let me explore what you got to say, and we'll take it from there. And they do a good job of that. So let's move on to Hexrot, Formless Ruin of Oblivion. This is a record I haven't spent a whole lot of time with. It's on Transcending Obscurity, who I at least moderately like most of the records they put out. You're going to see an Australian band, Depravity, who I used to enjoy, not make this list. I thought their new record was kind of uninspired. Came out this last year, too. This is, you can't make modern metal without pulling from big names like either Necrophagist or Gorguts. This is a band that kind of throws it all in the blender. There's a lot of Gorguts inspired passages here. If anything, I encourage you guys to listen to this record for how it opens with the most blatant ripoff of Death Symbolic you could possibly imagine. It's the first song on the record, just like Symbolic. It's the first riff. It can't be denied, and it's actually fucking hilarious. But as the record progresses, there's a lot of engaging ideas. It's unfortunately a band that, because the melodic choices vary so much, and because the structures vary so much, the style varies so much, there isn't a full-on realized band identity here, and that's what knocks them down a bit for me. Obviously, I want to hear that first, and maybe the hodgepodge is your band identity. But it doesn't come across as a fully realized form. If you are into stuff like Gorguts, but far less abrasive melodically, but with a lot of what you'll hear from newer bands trying to explore multiple genre shifts, this might be up your alley. It's got a lot of weaknesses, but some of the melodic choices made me want to listen to it more than once. So give that a go if you're interested in that. Then we have Lichgate. This is a band, this record is called Precipice. This is a band that I found did not outstay their welcome on the runtime, but at the same time, I felt like eventually I was waiting for the next step in each song to present a coloring to the band that made them stand out. This is kind of like the industrial tinged black metal band Abigor, but way toned down. It's not, it's an engaging listen, and it's another case of a modern band wanting to stand out by forcibly delivering oddball melodies here and there and oddball structuring, but at the same time feeling like they want to present that to you rather than just presenting it to you organically. I think there's room for this band to grow. I didn't want to turn it off necessarily, but I also didn't remember a whole lot of it after it was done. But either way, it's on this list because I remember the band after listening to it here and there and want to hear at least a song or two after a first listen, just to hear how the melodic choices work. There's enough here to denote the band's identity, so give it a listen, see what you guys think. This is a choice that honestly shouldn't make the list because I have not heard the whole record. This is Lethal Prayers, Sacrilege in Furnace. They only leaked one song while it was leaked by a third party, someone that watches the channel. Appreciate you. It is a a great song. If you're a fan of stuff like Morbid Angel and Incantation, but with more modern choices in melodic textures while still maintaining an old school aesthetic, this is going to be totally up your alley. This is an awesome. The song that I've heard is awesome, and the reason I haven't heard the record is the main guy in the band, Belial, does not want to have it be presented in the way modern internet culture kind of dominates how music is consumed. And I have to give him a lot of credit for that. He is deliberately limiting his scope by not putting it on streaming platforms and causing you to want to reach out to him to buy it firsthand. That's something I've yet to do, and I do want to do that. I'm glad I'm doing this list so I can remember to do that because it warrants it. This is it feels organic, and it feels like it upholds the tenets of classic death metal while wanting to progress outside the box a bit, just enough where it doesn't betray what makes death metal what it is. So reach out to them and get the record. I think that what they're doing, trying to bring back that kind of culture where you went ahead and just took a blind purchase on something because you thought it looked cool or a song sounded cool. I think there's a lot to be said for that in an era where our short attention spans are really going to determine whether or not we're getting that dopamine fix. So there's a commitment to be had here with the purchase and contacting him, and I recommend that you guys do that. Moving on to Exorbitant, Prices Must Diminish. This is a band I talked about briefly, I think, in a community post. This is going to surprise a lot of you, this entry. This is a power violence band, like kind of a grindcore power violence band. I am not very well versed in this genre, as you can imagine. And this will stand out because as much as I have said that things like fun are a diversion and I don't want to hear it in my music, if I'm going to listen to grindcore or power violence, I'm going to come into it wanting to have fun. And power violence as an offshoot of grindcore is more within the hardcore umbrella of it, but its focus is on scattershot songwriting, which is, as you know, is the antithesis of what this channel is all about. But the subgenre is known for wanting to have breakneck tempos and changes. And if it comes across in a way where it is not your Achilles heel as a songwriter, but your focus as a songwriter, that's something I can respect, because there's something to be said for taking the audience off guard. If your goal is to do that and present something that is going to be a roller coaster ride, it does have its own place in metal. Not everything has to be so streamlined to the point where you're going to limit replayability. You know, you want to have more there to engage repeat listens in metal and in offshoot genres, because there is a lot of depth to be had in metal and offshoot genres from metal. So give this a listen. This is a split with another band called Shitbrains, which was also fun and engaging. This shouldn't be judged on the same rubric that you would judge metal, but if what I had already described sounds like something you'd want to give a spin, give them a shot. Nobody talks about this band, but if I'm going to listen to power violence or grindcore, it's probably going to be something like this. Moving on to Desadium with Keys to the Palace. There is a void I feel in my soul while I wait for the Lycathia Flame record, which will never come out. After hearing Elven Ephraim back at the turn of the century when it came out, there's something to be said for that Wayfarer's music, that Wayfarer's metal, where you can feel that it's about getting to a destination. There's plenty of room in metal to want to develop that idea, and this is a band that is doing that. Unfortunately, it is bogged down by metalcoreisms, and here and there you're going to hear, of course, Meshuggah, scattershot, syncopated rhythms. It's unavoidable if you're a modern metal musician, but the overall approach, this is a one-man band. I have respect for people that can bring it all together by themselves. If you listen to this, you're not gonna think it's a one-man band. It's a cacophony of a lot of layers. But it's very competent, and it paints a picture for you where you feel like you're on a journey, and that to me gives it validity as artistic value. Like I feel like this guy has a unique voice enough where I really wish he would get away from a lot of those metalcoreisms, but it's to be expected for a younger player. But if he keeps on that path where he's opening a bit more of that window that Lycathia Flame had developed, this might be for you. Give it a shot. Moving on, we're now to the big three. Those other ones didn't have a particular ranking, but now I'm getting to the ones that I would say were probably my top three for 2025. The Malefic Throne, Conquering Darkness record. I've already talked about this on the channel when Gene Pelabicki put this out, as well as the Perdition Temple record in the same weekend because he's a fucking madman. This is the better of the releases. It's the most engaging. It doesn't have as tight songwriting as the Perdition Temple, but it's just got so much more going on to keep you engaged. The melodic choices are unique, and the energy is there. It feels like it has the energy of Angel Corpse's The Inexorable, which is something that I've been trying to get back from that band or from its related members since then, and they couldn't even do it on the Of Lucifer and Lightning reunion record. But this will scratch that itch if you're looking more for what you heard on Angel Corpse's third record. Moving on to what the hell is going on here. Let's get rid of that. Okay, this one is one I mentioned on the channel briefly, and I want to give it ample time for discussion because it definitely deserves it. This is Cyrictus's Temple of Unbeing. I will be forthcoming in saying that this record is another one-man project that was put together by someone that I have a long-standing relationship with, long-standing friendship with, and I have had friends put out records in the last few years that I wouldn't want to discuss on the channel that haven't made a top 10 list or anything. They're competent, but this one has earned its place here, and I wouldn't compromise what I say online just to bolster a friend. I actually really love this record, and it was a pleasure to hear like rough drafts of things coming as he was putting it together. It's really, really great. It's if you liked the late 90s boom of more progressive stuff coming out of Canada, progressive death metal. There's stuff, if you're into stuff like Voivod, Gorguts is more the From Wisdom to Hate record than anything a lot of bands will try to ape Obscura. This has a little bit going on with From Wisdom to Hate, which is not usually a point of reference for people wanting to have Gorguts be an influence. Also, the futuristic slant of something like Pestilence's Spheres. It's a very engaging release from start to finish, very inspired melodic choices. The songwriting is good. I can't fault it. The production is it's organic, old school feeling. The guitars aren't saturated with gain to the point where it just doesn't feel organic. It feels like, even though it's a one-man band, it feels like you're in a room with the band. And I had said this to him as he was putting it together. There's times where it feels like the notes are strangled out of the guitar, which is a really cool, visceral approach to how the songwriting will hit your ears. It's kind of like what you had heard during the This Carnal State song from Gorguts on Obscura. That the way the notes are pulled out of a guitar on that song and in this record, it's not something you hear in a lot of modern releases where everything is compressed to the gills and quantized. And regardless of the production choices, this is just a good record. It's just a good death metal record from start to finish, and it was really exciting to listen to, and I can't wait to see what he comes up with next. So give that a listen for sure. If you take anything away from this video, not just because this is someone that I know, just give it a listen because it is a very good record, and I guarantee there's going to be something for you to enjoy on it if you're a fan of if you watch this channel for any kind of takes on death metal. This is a great record. You'll enjoy it. So moving on to number one, this is the Dead End Dripping record that I had already covered on the channel, Nefarious Scintillations. I I don't want to go into it too much anymore because I already talked about it. It gives you everything that I look for when I hear an artist that's either new or new to me, where you hear the mission statement, you hear the inspiration, you hear the melodic choices. It's given to you and it's not shown to you. It just simply exists and you're there to process it. It doesn't depend on you for it though. It's it's both. It's a profound listen, and it doesn't feel like anything else, and it presents you with its own language and universe, just like Demolish does. When if you heard that record when you did, and you remember the imagery that it evokes in your head, you're going to get that same kind of experience here. It obviously influenced by that band, but it doesn't sound like that band. It doesn't feel like that band. It has its own listening experience entirely. So that's really it. If you want to uh, put something together nowadays without having it bogged down by trappings of like modern metal, all you got to do is just have your own voice. Focus enough on your presentation and songwriting where it's cohesive and doesn't feel like it's pieced together, just so that you can get a reaction out of an audience, because that tells me you're steering the music for the audience. Show me that you're just demonstrating who you are in your release. And that will be the closest we'll get to a pure image of who you are as an artist. This to me doesn't give a fuck about the audience. It just shows you who the artist is, lets you process it, and you can take it or leave it. As for me, I found it very engaging, enjoyed it from start to finish, and highly recommend it. So that's all I have to say about what I listened to in 2025. There's a lot of non-metal releases I listened to. The last Cardiac's record, I talked about Cardiac's on here, definitely warrants a listen. Not just because of the story behind the record, but because it's just good. It's just a good record. It's a double record, so it's a commitment, but it's very good, and it's them. It's just it follows the same rubric I use when I judge a metal band, but obviously without the techniques and message of metal, where Cardiac sounds just like Cardiac's, no one else, and that's great. A few other releases that I listened to, like the most recent Black Moth Super Rainbow, it was okay. I didn't think it was as good as Panic Blooms, even though it feels like a natural offshoot of it. So give that band a listen if you're into like lo-fi electronic shit. It's melodically dense, so someone like me that looks for melody is going to find something to enjoy it in that. But I didn't find it as inspiring in the last record. But I don't want to derail it too much more. We've already talked about the metal releases, but please give me recommendations and I will check it out. I do want to find more stuff to be inspired by all the time, and I know that this list is sorely lacking in true old school releases. So let me know if you've heard something inspiring within that style, and I'll look forward to hearing from it. And thanks again for listening.